I don't hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Gotta bring that energy. I feel like I forgot how to do this.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
I
Like it's
forgot
been
how
a
to
hot
do
minute,
this, man. What's up?
What's good, man? What's the deal?
Nothing
Seems like
much.
it's been a minute. Seems like it's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I think it's been like 3 weeks since the last time we sat down and talked.
Way too long. Way too long.
Yeah, man. But let's set it off the right way, man. Give me one thing that you like just despise about the Navy. One thing you hate about the Navy.
I guess the one thing I hate about the Navy, man, first off, that's a tough question, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be multiple things, but I'm gonna give you my number one thing. My number one thing is the DCPO program, man, Damage Control Petty Officer program, man. That's one of the things that I feel like it's too many identities, too many people can kind of squeeze different things out about the DCPO program when it comes to, do they need to send a sailor, or should my guys be doing it themselves, and all this type of craziness. I feel like it should be straight black and white. This, you send this person, or we give it back to division. As a damage control man, I have no problem with giving it to division, as long as you let me walk around and be able to tell you if your stuff right or wrong or whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But this program, I feel like it can be done a whole lot easier than what we are doing, and I'm a big fan of giving it back to the division, right?
Yeah.
Because I get so many headaches about people coming TAD to me. Every time I go in the chief mess, every time I walk around the ship, somebody say, "Oh, what's this? What about that? What about this?" Man, take them back then.
Yeah.
Take them back. I have zero problem with that. Zero.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my biggest things, man. At DCPO Parade, every ship I've been on, man, it's always been like a little bit of a headache when it comes to sailors. Not the work side of it, just the sailors piece. It's always been an issue.
Yeah.
How about you?
I thought it was cool when like the EMs from the division would go over to DCPO shop, get their PMS, whatever they had to do for the week. You still kind of controlling, your week. They knock those checks off, then they still kind of do checks within the work center. I thought that was cool. Versus losing an entire, sailor for X amount, like 3 months or whatever like that.
But see, now with that being said right there, the difference in that is I feel like they put a whole lot of work on a DC guy to walk around in every division. He goes around, he separates who's doing what. Now, think about all the work centers he got to put inside of SCED to individually do that.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? For each, that ain't how we do it right now.
So you talking about giving them the checks back, all the DCPO checks.
Boom. Yeah.
And
exactly.
then the division do those checks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like that. It has been like, I'm gonna tell you, it's been like that before. But what happened was we got I'm gonna say got complacent, and the maintenance wasn't being done correctly and all this type of stuff. So that's the reason why they gave it back.
Yeah, because you need somebody to train and teach how to do some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
yep.
I mean, and even when they started incorporating, because they recently started incorporating some of y'all checks, some of the DCPO checks back to the division. Nobody knew how to do it. Nobody knew what it was, how to do it, how to add it to the work center. It was not
especially
really
that ventilation check, man.
That's what it was.
For me, that ventilation check is the best thing ever happened to the Navy.
What, getting it back to the divisions? Yeah.
From a DC standpoint, it is. Dude, that maintenance is like, dude, the harder checks is crazy, man.
Yeah, we do ventilation checks too. So some of those checks, I'm like, it's kind of repetitive, man. Sometimes it's like it's overlapping what we do, and then you see the DCPOs do it. Because when I was on a ship as a junior seller, we did all the belts and like we replaced the belts and all that in my division. It wasn't like a DCPO check, so that was weird going back to the ship.
Yeah.
I
tell you,
what's up?
Yeah, that ventilation check, man. Just real quick, I remember back when I was on older ships, man. That check came out and they said, if you didn't have like a like a hole in your ventilation to do the duct and maintenance, you had to cut the hole in yourself.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now these newer ships that come out, it's already there for you to have like a port
Yeah.
to go in and clean. But back in the day, they didn't have these ports in the car. It actually said if you don't have it, you got to like make one. So it was
what,
crazy.
you just cut it and then you put it back on
Make
when
like a
you
little,
finish?
yeah. Make like a little door type deal.
Yeah.
Look, we had HTs do that stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
yeah.
crazy. I mean, that's that DCPO maintenance check and that, mixing, intertwining with the divisions. That was something that they had to hurry up and get a handle on soon as that change was made, because people try to figure it out. And that's the kind of thing that encouraged Gundecking, man. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the kind of thing that if it ain't really, if you'll grab that thing by the handle the moment that you hurry up and, do that, it's going to be people just try to figure it out. And try to figure it out, me being in that fan room and with that card in your hand and being like, yeah, this is a duct.
Yeah.
Knowing it ain't a duct.
For all the listeners don't know what Gundecking is, that's when you like that check coming up and you don't know what the hell you doing, or you miss, or you don't complete it as written and you still sign for it.
Yeah.
You have
skip
we
a couple
call
steps.
Gundecking. Yep.
Skip a couple steps. Hey, so it is something I hate. Before I get into it, I'm a first shout out Tribe, Isolated Tribe. My man Rel, his cousin and his family, they got a clothes, and this one of the hats, the Isolated Tribe. I love
Tribe,
it.
I'm trying to buy something. What's up, man?
Isolated Tribe, man. And then
ain't got no gear.
This I'm on the wrong side, like this right here. Hank Cinnamon Buns. So Hank Cinnamon Buns. I just bought this hoodie from Hank McCoy, man. Hip hop producer from Philly, man. Make beats, beats real hot. Like some of the hottest beats I heard, from somebody in Philly. He started making cinnamon buns a while ago, and cinnamon buns good too. I went home recently and got some cinnamon buns. I felt bad because when I ordered them, I wasn't home, and he had to take them to a different address. So it's like my wife's family, they got a restaurant out there. So I'm like, hey, like he had to take them to the restaurant, and the people in the restaurant, I didn't really cover the grounds that the people in the restaurant like didn't know me. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that work there, like they own the restaurant, but the people that work there don't know me. So he's like, yeah, I'm bringing these for Damo, and they like, yeah, well, no, we not taking.
Who the hell is
Damo? So then he hit me up like, hey, like we're like I don't know what to do. They not taking those, And I'm thinking her brother was there. Her brother was there. He was in the back. But yeah, shout out to Hank McCoy, man. Like real dope beat maker, real dope cinnamon bun down and bread and all types of stuff he got going on, and it's a very super high quality hoodie and stuff like that. So
yeah, nice hoodie, man. Nice hoodie.
Yeah, man. And then of course I got the cup by Miss Alana Abernathy, man. Always my go-to, man. So always supporting, man. I made a promise.
I like it.
Yeah, I made a promise, I think a year ago, 2 years ago, that if I know people that's doing something, that I'm a support. I would prefer rather wear a million Hank McCoy hoodies than a Prada hoodie or Balenciaga or something like that. I'd rather wear a Tribe hat than Salvador Ferragamo or anything like that. So that's why, like, I don't care how much money it costs. I'm supporting the people that I know. So shout out to Rel, Tribe, Hank McCoy, Hank Cinnamon Buns, Miss Alana Abernathy, everything she got going on. And shout out to PTSF and all our listeners and everything we got going on. Anniversary coming up next week.
Big anniversary coming up next week. Man. Dang, man. We've been doing this for a year, man.
Yeah, man.
That's
a year.
Really good.
Yeah, a year. Ups and downs. All right, let's get into it. This is what I hate. I hate hate is a strong word, and we love the Navy and all of that, but we talk about what we hate right now. So I hate when people come to me with an emergency that they waited to the last minute to bring up, and they think it's supposed to be an emergency for me too. I hate that. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to him, Damo. Talk to him, Damo.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate anybody that works in customer service deals with that. Even you. I mean, I know you probably deal with it too. But being an EM, we don't only go do repair work. We don't only do drills. We don't only, stand and watch. We also work in customer service. So somebody could be putting something off for weeks and weeks, and then out of nowhere, it's a big deal. They got this coming up. So they like, yeah, my lights out. You know, these lights. You know, like, yo, you got a trouble call? Like, nah, but the lights out. You know what I'm saying? And they know they got leverage. Or they go to eights, or they go to some, you know, meeting with the XO or something, and it's like, yeah, we hit EDIV up. EDIV know about it. Like, yeah, y'all just put this in yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest. That's like probably my. It's more things, of course, like you said, it's more things, but we could get into the more things we hate as the weeks go by. But that's the thing I hate.
I have to give one example, man, of your last minute shit, man, that we come up with in customer service and all this stuff, man. Like, I remember, I know it's gonna bring up, you gonna remember this when I say this shit, man. It's like, I remember we on the ship, we was having, you say bring up zone inspections, so we having these zone inspections, and we found out that we missing a lot of T-wrenches.
Yeah.
Right on board the ship. And I remember XO talking to the chain, everybody talking to each other about these T-wrenches. They end up that I had to start making T-wrenches. I had to make 2 T-wrenches per day.
Yeah.
Big shots out to the command for that, man. But I tell you what, man, we was knocking those T-wrenches out, man. I had to bring these T-wrenches to my, you know, chief engineer every day, man. And we was knocking them out though, man. But the thing about it was though, is that we can order this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we can order it and we can get it, but of course
the command don't want to
wait.
Take
a little time. No, ain't no waiting on these
command
T-wrenches,
they want to wait.
no waiting on these T-wrenches. Dude, I was trying to wait on these T-wrenches, man. I was trying to wait on them. But you know what though, man? I was feeling good when I brought those 2 wrenches. No, when I was bringing them 2 T-wrenches in there.
Bill's character,
you don't know how
man.
Hey man, you don't know how my face was, and I was in there bringing them 2 T-wrenches in there every day, like boom, put them on the desk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was a big deal. But that goes back to things start happening and the chain, and then the ball started rolling.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? When you start getting hit.
And I guess that's the lesson you learn, to just make sure you got T-wrenches on order. Yeah, you got T-wrenches coming. Like, you know, if y'all still failing at that a year later, then you ain't learned that lesson. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That builds character right there, man.
Oh yeah.
That's
For
crazy,
real.
man. But man, it's been a while, man. I feel like it's been 3 weeks. I haven't what you been up to?
Yeah, man. So first and foremost, let me give a big shout out to my oldest son, Mark.
Yeah,
you know,
shout out.
He just joined the Navy, man. I know you guys probably seen some pics or something from me and also from Damo too. From him leaving November, I think he left November the 1st, and he actually went to Great Lakes on the 2nd, man. Yeah. So big shots out to this dude, man. I'm telling you, and mark my word here, if something happens differently, man, but Mark gonna do some big things in the Navy, man. Very intelligent dude, man. Go-getter. So I'm looking forward to seeing the things that he do, man. Hopefully right now we got a graduation date, you know, early January. You know I'm gonna be there, man. You know, early January. But I'm curious, and I'm waiting. I'm standing by. I just want to see how this dude blossom, man, because I think he got that go get it attitude, man. They want to win all the time, and we're gonna see what happened to him, man.
Hey, so stop right there real quick, man. I got some questions for you, right? Because this will be what, 2nd generation for you, right?
Yeah,
2nd generation Navy. All right, so like you know, what fears do you have about that? You got any fears?
To be honest with you, man, I don't really have no fears when it comes to Mark. I'm more fearful of my wife, if anything, like on the things that she think about on a daily basis about him. That's her baby, you know.
Yeah.
Me, I'm trying to push him out of the coop, man. I'm trying to get him going, get him, you know what I mean, get him going and get him ready to be a man. You know what I'm saying? So, I really don't have no problem. And this dude is put in so much of a good situation, man. I was trying to tell him before he left, the situation I was in when I left, and the situation he left when I ain't have people like to help me out a lot. You know what I mean? When I call back and I needed help with something, dude, you got your mom, your dad, you got grandparents, you got so much support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I didn't have when I came in. So, man, I know this boy gonna do good. And if he don't, he's, you know, we'll we'll correct him.
Yeah.
Trust me. But I think he's gonna go out and gonna do things. He got the support to do that stuff, man.
Did you have any advice for him before he left?
Yes, I had my advice for him when he left was be him.
Yeah.
You know the difference between right and wrong. Don't go just following people. You know what I mean? Don't just be a follower all the time, man. You have to make your own decisions, and you know the difference between right and wrong. And that's kind of what my talk was. Because a lot of times, man, young people, I think they just, follow somebody else when you know that's probably not the right thing to do, but you still, okay, everybody else doing it.
Yeah.
Because everybody else doing it, they don't make it right.
And he got resources, man. He got you.
And he got resources.
He got
a lot of resources.
He got his mom, like you said. He got this podcast to listen to. He got a whole bunch of, I was saying, like, if Mark never really listened to the podcast before, now it's like,
now's the time,
he got a little roadmap, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I definitely want to, get on and talk to him after he come back, and just to get that fresh out of boot camp,
Oh yeah, experience. Man, we can do that. The time he get back out of boot camp, man, we'll get him on here, man. See what's new too, because we kind of see what's going on over there, man. See a good look.
What's his rate?
IT.
Okay. So
he going to Pensacola right after boot camp. So hopefully class up. They got a lot of COVID measures over there too. So hopefully, he get right in classed up and get going, man.
He going in with a guy. I'm gonna try this. Man, we got this applause. I'm gonna try this applause. See how this applause sound, man. See. It's kind of low, right? You hear that?
I hear it though.
Yeah,
I do hear
man.
it.
So congrats to Mark, man. Let's see how that comes out when we finish.
Right?
Try to figure this thing out, man. Yeah. Hey, congrats to Mark. Me to Mark. Hey, man. Just like those first 2-3 years are crucial, man. So soak in all the knowledge that you could soak in. I mean, and this to anybody that's listening, for real. Those first, I said it before, I think your last 15 years is kind of dictated by your first 5, in a 20-year kind of career. So listen to everybody you could listen to, whether it's positive influence, negative influence. You take everything you get and you kind of make yourself who you want to be. The Navy's changing in a really good way. And he's starting to be aware of a whole bunch more things that I don't think we were aware of when I was, coming up. So just, soak all that knowledge in and be the leader that you want to be. If you don't see that leader, then be that leader. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big thing for me. So again, shout out Mark and good luck through boot camp and everything like that. You ready to go back to Great Lakes, man? And you ready to go watch all that? Watch the graduation?
Yeah, man. But the only bad part about it, though, man, it's in January.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold, man. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to seeing him, man. We was so I just came back from Japan.
Oh,
hey, what happened?
That's what I wanted to ask you. How is it? Because you didn't get to see him go.
No, I didn't get to see him go.
Yeah, man.
So I didn't get to see him go. That was a whole nother big old thing right there, me not getting to see him go. But I mean, it is what it is. I had an inspection going on in Japan. But I was tuned in, you know what I mean? My wife had, the time was way different. It was like 16 hours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to talk with him and all that stuff. So it was good.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to come back, so since Ella, like me being in the military, me doing a thing, so Ella knows things about the Navy and all this, but she never point things out like she does now since Mark is in.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean by pointing things out, so she came pick me up from the airport. So we went by to get like gas, gas by 40-50 cents cheaper on the base. Near the base. So we went down there and got some gas, and she seen all these little young people walking and said, "Oh, they go Mark." Like she pointing little young sailors out, man. Little youngsters out, man. Like they look so young, like they just, 17, 18 years old or whatever. She, "Oh, that's gonna be Mark right there." So it's pretty cool. She trying to point all these little dudes out, man.
Yeah, man. That's
pretty
what's up.
Cool.
So how was Japan?
But yeah, man. So yeah, man, I was in Japan, man. Time is dude, that time killed me, man. Those 16 hours or whatever difference. I was waking up at 12, 1 o'clock every day there.
Yeah.
12, 1 o'clock. So that was pretty pretty rough, man. And then the trip, then go on the ship, and we was trying to help the ship out too. You know what I mean? Going on the ship earlier than the inspection, just to let them know what we looking for, what we doing, and all this stuff. And they took a little bit of advantage of me. You know, had me doing a whole lot more stuff than I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But hey, it's okay. I mean, I don't fault them for trying, you know, to get much information and get me to look at much stuff that could. So I'm not mad about that. I went seeing pretty much seen most of the selects that made it that I knew anyway, and more. But the ones that I knew, it was like 4 or 5 of them over there. They knew me from the ship, and got to talk with them. Got to give them a charge. Getting some good advice, man, on things that's after this. You know, after this, man, not necessarily what they're going through right now, but the things that's to come. And talk to them about that stuff, man. So I had a okay time in Japan, just sitting there. You got a 2-day event, man, and you just sitting around because of you know ROM measures and all that stuff. It's kind of boring or whatever, but it is what it is. But it was okay. I made it back. That's another reason why you guys haven't seen us in a while too, though.
Yeah,
because of going to Japan and things like that. So schedule kind of dictated that, but we back.
Yeah, we back.
You know what I mean? We back right now. And one of the other biggest things that says I've been having fun with and not so fun with since I got back from Japan is we got a new little puppy, man.
Mm-hmm.
So my experiences with these little puppies in the house, because growing up, our dogs was outside. You know what I mean? It wasn't a big deal. Outside, whatever. But now, as you know, dogs like inside. I got inside dogs now. Right? Oh my goodness. So the first dog I got an old English Bulldoggy, right? So pretty much an old English Bulldog without all the some of the side effects the old English got. So the oldest is the one I got now is a boy. His name Kalihi, right? So I got him at 8 months.
What inspired you to name him? What inspired the name?
The oldest one?
Yeah.
Same thing inspired the other one in Hawaii. Right? So Kalihi is kind of like a Hawaiian name type deal.
Okay.
Right? So we named the one we got now Cali because we in California, so Cali.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is the difference is I got Kalihi when he was 8 months.
Yeah.
So I got we got this puppy at 7 weeks.
Whew.
Right? So he's a little puppy. When he at 8 months, I can teach him. I can when I like show him that poop and say don't do this, he kind of know what I'm saying. 7 weeks, he don't know what's going on, man. So
you got a female dog,
man.
right? Female?
Yeah, female. Yeah, man. So, but actually, he took to her real good though, man. Wasn't no like beef, no problem. Like he didn't get mad. I thought because he been here the whole time. He's like 6 now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it wasn't no like territorial type shit. He was good. But this dog, man, I remember when you first got your dog.
Yeah, man.
We used to have these conversations about it. This dude is like just what you talked about, man.
Yeah.
Everything goes in his mouth, including your fingers and your toes and
and
everything, dude. Like she is, I keep saying he all the time, but she is rough customer, man. Like right now, she's a rough customer.
Yeah.
So I didn't bought like, so they bought him when I was in Japan. My wife bought her.
Did you know about it?
Yeah. I knew.
Okay.
So they bought her when I was in Japan. So they was telling me all about stuff. But I'm like, man, when I get home, I'm finna squash all this little crap she doing, bro.
Yeah. Ain't happening.
Ain't happening, dude. I have bought some measurements, man. I bought a big old wide cage, man.
Yeah.
Like she could run around and play it type stuff, man. But man, she didn't end up knocking that cage down, man. Yeah, she ain't messing around, man.
Little dogs, man, they got a lot of energy, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of energy. But she go to sleep right after that. Then she get up and do it again, man. That's all she do.
Yeah.
She get up and do it again.
Pooping around the house?
Yeah, oh yeah, man. But I'm minimizing where she go though. So
yeah, you got it.
But she going outside though. When she go outside, I mean, as long as we on top of her, it's good. As long as we on top of it, it's good.
I think and then she got Khalid to kind of follow around, so it gives her some direction, like big bro type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we getting Saint neutered. So it took us a while to make the decision, but we found he was getting pretty aggressive at the dog daycare. So he was getting also he won for Halloween costume of the year. So Hey, congrats, Saint, for winning for that, man. Congrats,
Hey
little
man, why I'm
guy.
not surprised, man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
well, you
Lumberjack
gotta send me a
Saint,
picture,
man.
man. You gotta send me a picture,
Young
man. You
winner.
know.
He's a young winner, man. Welcome to the winning team, Saint.
Oh
But
my goodness.
yeah, he getting neutered. He's getting too aggressive at the dog daycare, man. So we bring him humping, man, just humping. Dogs just hump, man. It don't matter. It could be a male dog, female dog. They hump to establish dominance. They hump to do a lot of things. And since he was the smallest dog at the daycare, I don't know if it's like a Napoleon complex or whatever, but he go and he grabbed the dog that's bigger than him, but like the next size up, pretty much the other smallest dog, but a little bigger than him. And he pretty much let that dog know by humping him or whatever that he not to be played with, right? So my wife told me all this, and when she told me, she was like happy about it, and I wasn't, man. Like, she'll tell you, no, don't act like I was happy, but she was kind of happy. Like, let me tell you about our dog. He goes and he humps the other dog to establish his dominance. It's like jail. I'm like, yo, dog daycare should not be like jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog daycare should be a safe place for these dogs to go. But I guess he humped this other dog, so much or so bad that he kind of singled that dog out to be like the runt of the bunch. And I guess that dog had a brother that was at daycare too, and that dog's own brother started humping him too. So the dog went into like hiding. So whenever Saint around, the dog would go hide. And then when Saint leave, he's like Debo now. Then when Saint leave, the dog come back out again. And I wasn't really too happy about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, it's time for, because I'm like, eventually the daycare, the lady that run the daycare, she does great, but eventually she's gonna say like, yo, I can't keep him here. He's disruptive, and it's costing us money because he's humping so hard that when he get back home, he's bruised. You know what I'm saying? Like, he humps so hard that his little dog balls are like bruised or whatever. So we got to get medication for like $100 in Banfield. Hey, Banfield, y'all, man. Y'all scamming people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a dedicated. I got Banfield, I got it. It's crazy. Everything I talk about, I kind of have, like, because, like, Planet Fitness, like, I actually go to Planet Fitness. I saw a sign there just the other day that said, like, no personal training whatsoever. like what else we supposed to do there? Like it's a gym. But Banfield, man, like what we paying these fees for? Why do we pay for Banfield? Do we pay to just walk in there? Because everything we need costs money, like over $100. Everything I need costs like over $100. What am I paying for? But so we've been getting the stuff, the medication, and it take like over a week for this, these bruises to go down. So I'm like, we can't keep sending them. He's supposed to, like, we might have family come over for Thanksgiving. We can't keep sending them. Well, the day after Thanksgiving. Well, I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, but we can't keep sending him to the thing and him coming back. It's like $100 every time. So it's just time. It's not good on the part of me. It's not good on the part of Angeline. It's not good on the part of the daycare, and it ain't good on Saint. He don't understand it, but he's in pain after, so he got to go ahead and get neutered. So that's happening in actually a few days, like 3 more days from now, he gonna get neutered, and then almost a month from now, Angelina be getting surgery. So that's pretty much life. And it's crazy. I was talking to my CMC, and he was telling me about medical treatment facilities for pets on base. I never knew that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so what's up?
Well, I didn't either. I don't say I didn't know that because I was stationed on a base and I did security. And I remember this is like long time. This is in like Kingsville, Texas. I remember them having that on the base. But man, you know what? You brought that up to me, and I was thinking like, man, I never thought about that, man. That's a good deal, man. I'm sure people are taking advantage of it, but I never took advantage of it. But I am now. I'm actually calling this week because the little puppy needs shots coming up. So I'm most definitely going to be calling and try to figure this out, man. But that's a good idea.
I'm just thinking like, here I am complaining about Banfield, and like I could go on base. I heard it's kind of sometimes hard to get in, you know what I'm saying? But I could go on base. I remember we went to this one vet, man. Because I didn't want to do Banfield when we first got Saint, so we went to like this private vet, and like the vet, I ain't really like him talking to us like we were children. You know what I'm saying? He was talking to me and my wife like we were children, and we just got synced like 3 years ago. So we both were like over 30. And as I'm in a waiting room, all I see is letters from like dog owners about how, good the vet was. That's normally one of the things you want to keep up. But as I read the letters, like all of the letters was about how their animal died. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you were there for us throughout the death of such and such, and you were there. It was unfortunate this happened. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to this vet. It seemed like all the animals that went to this vet died. You know what I'm saying? So we left there. We hightailed out of there.
No. Yeah. Nah.
And so we normally do. We normally salute our heroes and talk about our heroes, but what we were going for and was kind of close to me because I work in the capital region, and we just did a ceremony for Colin Powell, right?
Yeah.
So we just did a ceremony we could call him General Powell, we could call him Secretary Powell, Colin Powell, we could call him Father, we could call him leader, we could call him hero, we could call him first. It's a lot of things we could call him, but we just had a ceremony for him. So instead of us reading a citation for a fallen hero or somebody that did some amazing feat in a moment of peril or something like that, we're gonna talk a little bit about. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna talk about Colin Powell, some stuff from CNN, but then I'm gonna also talk about what just the existence of Colin Powell means to me. So first, I'll go Colin Powell, first Black U.S. Secretary of State, dies of COVID-19 complications amid cancer battle. That kind of like that headline was almost confusing and almost like pissed me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was battling cancer. He was 84. Because the first thing I read was just COVID complications. I'm like, why do we have to, lead off with COVID for everything, right? But all right, so another thing before we get into it, I was at quarters, right? I'm putting it out to my division. I'm like, hey, Colin Powell passed, right? Because I found out like 8:05 in the morning, whatever day that was. I'm like, hey, Colin Powell passed. They all quiet, and I'm thinking they quiet because they sad and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, y'all know. And this is crazy as how young these people are, man. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, none of them like they didn't really react. I'm like, y'all know who Colin Powell is? They're like, we ain't want to. They like, we ain't really want to tell you, but like, don't none of us know who he is. I'm like, dang, I like that. That's how young we are, man. But yeah. So Colin Powell, the first Black U.S. Secretary of State, whose leadership in several Republican administrations helped shape American foreign policy in the last years of the 20th century and the early years of the 21st century, has died from complications from COVID-19. His family said on Facebook he was 84. General Colin L. Powell, former U.S. Secretary of State and chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, passed away this morning due to complications from COVID-19, the Powell family wrote on Facebook, noting he was fully vaccinated. Powell had multiple myeloma, a cancer of plasma cells that suppresses the body's immune response, as well as Parkinson's. Peggy Cifrino, Powell's longtime chief of staff, confirmed to CNN. Even if fully vaccinated against COVID-19, those who were immunocompromised are at greater risk from the virus. We have lost a remarkable and loving husband, father, grandfather, and great American, and family said. Right? And then it gets into some other stuff. This is the last thing I'm going to read. Powell was a distinguished and trailblazing professional soldier whose career took him from combat duty in Vietnam to becoming the first Black national security advisor during the end of Ronald Reagan's presidency and the youngest and first African-American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under President George H.W. Bush. His national popularity soared in the aftermath of the U.S.-led coalition victory during the Gulf War, and for a time in the mid-'90s, he was considered a leading contender to become the first Black president of the United States. But his reputation would be forever stained when, as George W. Bush's first Secretary of State, he pushed faulty intelligence before I'm not going to finish that part. But I'm going to just talk about for a second Colin Powell and what he meant to me. Colin Powell was, and at the time in my youth, I wasn't big with the George W. Bush and his administration and some of the stuff that was happening. at that time I wasn't that big on it with the Republican side. I thought a lot different in my youth about politics and things like that, right? But whenever I would turn on the TV, I got to see Condoleezza Rice because she was over there with Bush, and I got to see Colin Powell. And Colin Powell was the first black man that I saw on TV in my youth, and I know it was probably some before, but he was the first black man that I saw on TV in that seat, in that kind of seat, in that kind of position. So, where I grew up, how I grew up, we watched a lot of sports. We saw a lot of black athletes, not a lot of black team owners, but a lot of black athletes. We listened to music. So we saw a lot of black music artists, not a lot of black music executives, but a lot of black music artists,
Yeah.
Acting was a little different. We saw some, black actors, not too many black directors, you know what I'm saying? But a decent amount of black actors, and does the ones who were popular then are the ones who are popular now, right? Denzel, Will Smith, Morgan Freeman, like the same, group, your Don Cheadles and stuff like that. But on a political scope, we didn't see too many people that look like us. You had to go deep down into like city councils and stuff like that, things that we don't really pay too much attention to where I grew up at that age. You know what I'm saying? So as a young teenager, as a young kid growing up in Philly and turning on my TV, and no matter what, political party this person represented, to be able to see a black person up there, and it was two because you had Condoleezza, but right now I'm talking about, Colin Powell. It was just something that meant something, and it's like we don't even really know what it means when it's happening. I didn't really know what it meant when it was happening, but I knew somebody up there was black. There's a black guy up there, It makes it just a little bit more attainable, and politicians and stuff, I know they not paid, the most as much money as some athletes or some music artists or some business owners and stuff like that, but they on our TVs like every day. They become staples in your house. They become staples in your life, fixtures of like your everyday. So Colin Powell was that, for just as much as George W. Bush was. So that was the effect that, just that had on me.
Okay. So I'm with you in the same breath as you saying, and when it comes to the first, African American that we really see on the national stage when it comes to politics and comes to things like that, right? So I'm with you there, but a couple more things though. So of course we already know he's a 4-star general, right? But he did 35 years, man. 35 years, right? So when we talk about he was the 12th he was the 12th chairman of chief of staff, right?
Yeah.
The chairman of chief of staff, man. If you guys don't know, he's in charge of every top position in the military. Like, for example, you got the Navy, right? They got the CNO, right? He's in charge of every branch, right? He's a joint chief of staff. So that's crazy huge. And on top of that, he was the youngest to do that and was the first African American to do that.
Crazy.
Right? Crazy, right? So you brought up that Secretary of State, right? I look at it like this. He was the first African American, but on top of that, guess who followed him? Who you just brought up? Condoleezza Rice, who followed him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the first, then she followed behind him. So he set the standard, right? He set the stage for her and whoever comes after them. He set that stage, right? And not only was he part of the Persian Gulf War, he was also part of Desert Storm. Also, he was a immigrant from Jamaica, right? I don't know if that was even said in there or whatever, right?
Yeah, he was born in Brooklyn, right? BK, baby.
Yep. But the man did a lot of things, man. And I'm not even talking from a Republican or a Democrat or whatever, man. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a guy that everyone needs someone to look up in whatever field. If I'm talking about football, who I'm looking up to. If I'm talking about politics, who I'm looking up to, right? And he was one of those guys that came on with the suits, with that gray hair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when he talk, it brings you in. You listening to what he's saying because you want to know, like, what is this guy saying at this type of stage? Because that's not the stage we normally see a black man in.
Yeah.
So we no crap. Listen to him. I just want to see what he got to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it brought me in to start looking at the whole when it comes to when he was running for president, when Bush was running, and he was standing up there with him, whatever, man, just wanted me to like look in.
Yeah.
Let me tune in to it, believe it or not, you know. But a great man, a great story. I'm a pretty much say we're gonna get some more books from him about his life. I'm sure we're gonna get some movies about it, more movies about his life. And I can't wait to see all that stuff, man. And another accomplishment that you brought a little bit about, that he said he didn't even run for president, but he got some votes. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
crazy. He got votes, man, and it wasn't even running for president. Crazy, so that's the power that he had, you know, about how he talked and how he represented himself and his family and everybody, man. So my condolences to the family. And yeah, man, great guy, great dude, man.
Then he seemed like an overall good dude. I was reading something where he just was like, "Yo, don't feel sorry for me," you know. And this when he was still alive, you know, battling cancer. Don't feel sorry for me. You know, I lived my life. I lived the life I did, you know, and that's I always think about, you know, my last, I think about stuff like that, my last days, and I want to be able to say that too. Like, don't feel sorry for me. I lived my life, you know. So that was good. That was inspirational.
Yeah, it was, man.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Inspirational. So I did my PRT, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I did my PRT. You did yours yet?
Well, I'm doing my BCA Monday. Then I think on the 15th or something, I'll do my PFA.
Yeah, it's PFA season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
man.
back, and those planks don't count. We know that, right? We know the planks don't count this year. I think I did like 2.5. I think I did 2.5. I want to say, what you said you did like 3?
I did 3 or 4 just practicing, but I'm gonna probably do like 2 for this. And to be killing all my energy, man. I'm probably gonna do like 2.
I don't know. 2. I just remember. So I remember like you saying you did 3. So I'm like, I gotta do something close, comparable. Yeah. I forgot what I did though, but it was something like, you know, something close to that. I did the push-ups, you know, push-ups. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into how many I did, man. I struggled through them though. And then so I was supposed to do the bike. And last minute I switched it up. I said, man, let me get on that treadmill. You know, I knew I wasn't gonna run because of my knee. So, you know, thanks Navy Medical. I appreciate you guys, man, for the book that y'all gave me a couple months ago. Really helped me out. But so I knew I wasn't gonna run because of my knee. So I did I was going to do the bike, and then last minute I switched it. I said, man, let me get on that treadmill because I understand the treadmill. I was like, all right, it's easy. I got 12 minutes. So I knocked that out. I did all right on there. But my streak continues. I think I talked about it, and I think streak is probably the worst word to use right now for what I'm talking about. I think streak is the worst word to use, but my streak continues of every time I do a PRT, I have to take a shit, you know, every single time, yo. And it was the same. I did everything. I did all the precautions, man. I didn't really eat. Like, I did everything I could do. And that morning, it just was crazy. And I hate to bring it up because it's such a nasty kind of topic. But it was crazy, man. I had to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I did everything I could do, man. But again, that streak continues, man.
Yeah, man. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to my PT coming up, man. Like, I'm really looking forward to, because I haven't done one in so long, man. So I'm looking forward to just doing the PT. But
I'm looking forward.
While we on it,
I'm looking forward to the next to the next one, because I just crossed a major milestone in my naval career, man. You know, this was my last PRT at 34.
Yeah, that 34 mark.
This is my last PRT at 34. So now I'm in what I believe to be my last milestone. That's the 35, you know, 35 and up milestone. But you know, I just, a little less push-ups, a little slower on the runs,
not
a little
much,
quicker
but a
on
little
the
bit.
plank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's where I'm at now, man. I'm in that 35 and up group, man. So if you anywhere under that 35 and up, I don't need you as my partner when we out there on the floor, man. You know what I'm saying? when we out there on the floor, man, I don't need you as my partner. Man. Only people in the same bracket as me can hang with me, man.
I feel you on that one, man. I feel you. But I do got a little thing about this PT, man, and it's about these uniforms, man.
Yeah.
I want to just bring up real quick about these uniforms. We have a lot of, PT uniforms out there right now. We got the tracksuit. We got 2 different types of shorts and shirt or whatever. I think one of them is optional.
Yeah,
or whatever.
the Forged by the Sea and the regular.
Yeah. Then we got the sweat still out there right now. So, but I really want to bring up this tracksuit real quick for the listeners that may not know, and you guys can look this up also because I already did. But if you are at Command PT, and I say this again, Command PT, if you wear the tracksuit, you got to wear the entire tracksuit.
Yeah.
You cannot just wear the pants and then your yellow or blue shirt. You have to wear the entire tracksuit. Look it up, please. I'm not just making this up. I'm not trying to be, a dick about it or whatever on here, but it's the entire tracksuit. So make sure you guys look that up. And you got the nav admin in front of you?
Nah.
Okay.
I just took it down.
No biggie. But make sure you guys take a read on that, man. Take a look. I know we got a lot of PT uniforms out there, but I just want to make sure everyone knew that.
Yeah.
About the tracksuit anyway. Just wanted to. Now, if you by yourself, you can go to gym solo. You can wear the pants by yourself. You can wear the shirt. You can do whatever you want to do. But just when you at Command PT though.
I like that tracksuit, man. You got it
too, man. Yeah, I mean, I had it for a while though. I had it when it first came out. I got it.
Yeah, everybody should have it too now. It's mandatory to have.
Yeah, it's mandatory. When it was 30 September or something, I think. 30 September was mandatory, I think.
Yeah, mandatory to have. Some people think because it's mandatory to have and not wear that they don't got to get it. Nah, you got to have it. It's mandatory to have it,
Yeah, yep.
And hopefully y'all done like a hanger inspection or something where it's, we could see that, you have it. You know what I'm saying? We can see that you have it.
Definitely, man. Most definitely. It ain't cheap either.
Yeah, I've been wearing it through the different events with the Chief season, stuff like that. It was like $100, $110, something like that. 55 or something. The Navy good with a 55 for you though.
Yeah.
You notice that when they do uniform, they good.
Yeah.
They get 55.
NWs, everything.
55.
Yeah.
55 for the shirt, 55 for the for the pants or whatever.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I've been wearing it through the season, different events through the season, working out with the Chief Selects, stuff like that. I don't know if we've been on here. I think the last time we talked, it was about the results were coming. So first off, salute all the Chief Selects. Congrats. Hope you guys are enjoying your season. Y'all only got a couple weeks left. It's like 10 days left, man. Well, like 12. It's like 2 weeks left. It's like the moment we at right now is like 2 weeks left.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to getting back in the fight, man. I've been gone for 10 days, man. So, I got to go back on there Monday, man. Go over there and get back in the fight. Let them know I'm still around. Let them know I'm still here. But yeah, man, congrats to those guys, man. Big milestone in their career. And every year I always look back on when I went through and when I made it and all that type of stuff, man. I remember how excited I was because the fact that I didn't think I was going to make it. So I was very excited. And then my first couple of days, I wasn't with the Chief Selects, and I was put on hold. So when I got this phone call from one of the lead selects, and he said, "Hey, man, you with us?
Yeah,
come to the house." It was already midnight, so I was already asleep in the bed. Got this phone call.
Yeah,
and it's like, "Hey, we need you over here right now." And if somebody normally would call me at midnight, they might get some choice words from me. But when they called me up, man, I was like, on my way.
Nice,
I'm on my way, man. I was pretty excited about that.
Midnight.
And those are things you think about. Yeah, midnight. They called me up, man. When they found out.
They found out
from the CMC. Man. I know, right?
That's the old season. That's that old Chief season lifestyle. What y'all doing at midnight, man?
Yeah, man. Call
you
at
gotta
midnight,
tell him in the morning, man. Get him over to the house in the morning. What the hell is going on at midnight, man?
Sleep wasn't really a big deal back then, man.
Yeah, but what y'all doing at midnight? Like, yeah, you might as well come. We just getting started with the vessels.
Yeah, man.
Like, what they doing at midnight, man?
Hey, man, we was getting that work in, man.
Like, yo, y'all gonna have to hit me tomorrow, man.
No, I was excited, man. I got my ass right on up. Let's go.
Yeah, what y'all was doing? You remember?
Oh, they was working on some
That's
project.
That Chief Select. That's that early Chief Select life where you think you gotta be working at midnight. Like, man. Yeah, we working hard. We just gotta be working at midnight, man.
Sleep wasn't a thing back then, man. Your mentals wasn't a thing back then, man. Nobody care about your mentals back then.
Hey, if you're a Select, man, get your charges. Make sure you're getting out there talking to people you don't know. If you want to charge from us, ptsfpodcast at gmail. If you don't know us and you can't reach us directly, it's ptsfpodcast at gmail. I know most people hit me up.
Yeah, hit me up too, man. I got a lot to talk about. Yeah. I'm always talking to young guys, man, young sailors and young women and young whatever, man, about this stuff, man. So please, you out there, hit me up, man. I love to have a conversation with you guys about what you're going through right now and after. That's what I like to talk about.
Yeah.
I like to talk about after you know, this used to be September 16th, but after that date, man, you know what I mean? On what they expect and things like that.
Is it ever going to go back to September 16th?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I thought it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, we might sound somebody that's smarter than us. Please and let us know. What charges though? When you do your charges, are you did you got like a standard charge or you do different charge for everybody?
Well, I have a standard. When I say standard, I mean the things I talk about is kind of standard, but it depends on the person too, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If I'm trying to hit a certain thing with them because they was acting a certain way during the season, I might hit them with something a little bit different. But I do got a certain thing I like to talk about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it may come out, it may be written down differently on your charge, but I do got a certain thing that I like to hit up all the time to make people think like, oh shit, you know what I mean. And it's something that I got talked about.
Yeah,
that I got talked to about when I was coming up, and it hit home with me. So I wanted to like, hopefully it hit sailors and hit future chiefs like it hit me.
Yeah,
I got talked.
So you don't got like a typed up charge?
I have a typed up charge, but my typed up charge was that I just saved because somebody wanted one from me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I have one, but not just per se, just like this is what I'm gonna send out to everybody. No, it ain't like that though.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So I'm not gonna go too deep on the charge, but it's like words of wisdom to the Chief Selects. Right, it's like a little passage of wisdom to the Chief Selects for the civilians. Our junior sellers that might not know what we talk about does listen to the like podcast right now. It's words of wisdom to the Chief Selects. That's what a charge is. If you're going through the season with me and you're a Chief Select, you're not getting a charge probably till the end of it, till like the last day, last week. Most likely the last week. I don't want to do them all at the capstone event because it's going to be a lot of writing. But you're not going to get it. I want to sit with you. I want to live with you for those weeks. And then I'll give you I'm not trying to give a select that's going through the season with me a charge day 12 of the season. Like, hey, no, I can't do it.
Don't even really know them, right? You don't know them.
Yeah, I can't do it. Because for them, we're going to be speaking on things that we actually saw and stuff like that. It's like a little bit more of a personal touch. And then you got people online and, so when I first went through the season as a Chief Select, I never thought that I would ever even think about having a pre-written charge. You know what I'm saying? But now, as I get like requests for charges and people, kind of reaching out, it could be like, I got to set a day aside to write all these charges. So now I'm like, I need to kind of get like, something that I want to say that's specific to the words of wisdom that I have, vice feeling like I always got to say something specific to the person that I'm talking to. So I am going to kind of make outline of what I want to say and then change it in different ways, for different people. At first I thought that wasn't, personal enough. But
yeah. And I feel you what you're saying about that, because I was flipping through a charge book before my last command, and I saw your charge.
Yeah, you read it, huh?
I ain't read it. Nope. I don't necessarily like read people charges and stuff like that, but as you flip through,
you saw my charge.
Yes.
Where
I don't know if it's close to the end or whatever. What was on the last command?
Was it in somebody's book?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and that thing was like, seemed like I flip through real fast, so I'm flipping through to get to my page.
Yeah.
And that thing seemed like a damn near book, man. You wrote right there, man. I was like,
spying on my charge, man.
Yeah, man. But no, it was more than no. I wasn't hating on it. I was like,
I said, creeping, read my charge. Try to
I
take
didn't
notes.
read it though. No, I didn't read it, man. But that thing was long as hell, man. I was like, good Lord, man.
It was a Chief Select. It was a Chief Select.
Yeah, it was Chief Select. Yeah, they let me get their book, so when they gave it to me, I had to find my page, right? So I'm looking for my page. Yeah. And I said, damn, who wrote all that shit? And I looked at the letter. Oh, okay.
Hey, honestly, it probably was Jesse's. I'm thinking you probably was looking at Jesse's.
It may have been.
I'm thinking it was Jesse's because I was over. Jesse buttered me up, man. Hey, shout out to Jesse. But Jesse buttered me up. I was over his house, man. We had the table talking.
Oh, yeah.
Chilling, eating. I think he barbecued, he grilled, and I'm just sitting there spilling my guts to Jesse, man. And we had a big heart-to-heart, man. That might have been our first real long, real heart-to-heart. We talked a lot, but that might have been our first real talk. And he had me just giving him a whole Bible chapter, man, in that thing, man.
Yeah,
man. I mean, the conversations, the thing about the charges, a lot of time, the conversations that you have, outside of what's written on that paper, be sometimes even more powerful than what you could get down on that paper. Man,
most definitely, because you got kind of like a set thing you want to talk about on paper or whatever, but when you had those conversations and you actually, once I say one or two of the things that I'm talking about, then they rebuttal. Oh man, get deep in, man. Like, it's good. I like having those conversations. So it's good stuff.
So big mess versus small mess, man. What through the season, you've been a part of each, right? You've been a part of a big mess and a small mess. And that could go either way, right? Ship versus shore. It's different, right? Ship versus shore is different. Big mess versus small mess. Which one do you prefer?
Oh man, that's tough when it comes to which one I prefer. I don't know if I can answer that, man, but I can tell you what I think about both. Big mess, I felt like I was so I made it in a big mess, right? I made it on a carrier, right? So the one of the positive things of making it in that carrier, man, you have so many different ideas floating around that you're gonna come up with a good one. Yeah. See all these people with all this experience that's in here, man. Like, all this experience. Once that topic hit the board, it's like boom. You get so many good ideas on how you want to do it, man. You can kind of figure out anything you want to do. You go in there, you're gonna figure it out.
You talk about as a select, right?
As a select, as a chief, as anybody. You know what I mean? They talk about anything in there that's talked about, you're going to leave there with a way forward, right? Small mess, sometimes, man, that you can have 30 people in there, but ain't nobody really participating but like 10, 15, you know what I'm saying? If that. So I think that's the biggest difference in them too. But I like being in a small mess. Not saying other than in the big mess, but the small mess, I felt like my voice was heard a lot more in the smaller mess.
As a chief?
You know what I mean? As a chief. Yeah. I'm not really talking about chief selects, but as a chief, my voice was heard a little bit more, as into like when you on that carrier and you got 20 to 30 master chiefs, and you got a plethora of senior chiefs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your voice ain't as heard as a chief as much as in there it is as a small mess. But then things got a little bit different when it came to, now I'm on shore duty and I'm in a mess where everybody don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Right. Because you got people on the waterfront, you got people at headquarters, you got people all over the place. Right. So when we come together, it's like, man, like I remember having this conversation. We had an event And we get there and we met, man. Me and one of the other scene chiefs got together. We was talking to him, man. I don't know nobody here. He said it before I said it, man. I don't even know nobody here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you got to reach out and you got to talk. You got to introduce. Almost every event we go to, we introducing ourselves again. It's like one of those type of deals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. You know, on shore duty, especially like when we like what it is that we teach in the chief selects. You know, for us to when we get together to do this, like to do that, like to introduce ourselves, our go and speak to somebody. So I'm in a big mess and it's shore based and it's like regional. So all the messes, you know, get together when we do certain stuff. And I make it a duty. First of all, I made it a duty of mine to get to know the selects, of course, right? But then I make it a duty of mine to like have a conversation with like a chief that I don't know, that I never met, like a different one, like almost every time. Like I go up to them and talk to them because you get in these groups sometime and like different people from different places or different commands might kind of just naturally, you know, not saying it's a bad thing, but go off with each other or whatever. And the message that we sharing is about unity and brotherhood and teamwork and sisterhood and stuff like that. So like you gotta, if you're a chief and you're in one of those big mess or whatever, I urge you to go next event, you know, go to a chief you never met, go to somebody you don't know, and kind of like take heed to those actions that we trying to teach these chief selects. Right, that stuff need to run. Our actions need to run parallel with the things that we say. So I do make sure that I go and integrate with chiefs that I don't know all the time. Hey, what's up? I'm such and such. I'm Damo. I work here. Whatever, like that. Big mess stuff. I like the small mess on a ship. So small mess on a ship, right? That's my preference. I like that. I like being in one place, one room, being able to. I'm a little sick. Being in one place, one room, being able to talk to, you know, as many people, well, the group of people that we have and come up with stuff. And if it's a last minute thing, we all could get together last minute. It's not like a group chat. Like we operate right now out of like group chat. So we got like a group chat, and the group chat is like a hub. It's a hub for a lot of other group chats. So you got the group chat, and then you got different groups in that group chat that talk. So it's streamlined. It's a lot. But for me, somebody like me, I know it could be preferential to other people, but somebody like me, sometimes it could be like information overload. Like it's a lot of information. Not a knock, but just people I don't like. Even like when we were in a small mess and we was on WhatsApp, you normally don't see me on it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons why I don't get on it, because sometimes the jokes, and this might make me seem like I'm so like unfun or whatever, but like sometimes the jokes and the real shit that we got to put out is like in the same thread. And like, I don't feel like filtering through, you know, like, so you come to work the next day, like, hey, you know, we supposed to have our dress blues on. Like, and I'm like, well, how would I know that? Well, we put it in the chat. Like, well, we put it in the chat behind the 11 memes, the 11 Bernie Sanders memes. Like, I stopped at Bernie Sanders meme number 6. Like I didn't get to where we talk about the real shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my thing with those things. I know they do work. The one that we use is called Slack. At my command, we use one called Slack. It works. It's good. It's a good thing to get, you know, information out of. But I do find myself telling people that don't know stuff. And they like, hey, I'm like, yeah, you know, we just did this. And they like, well, where'd that get put out at? I'm like, it got put out on Slack. You know, then they give me that look like, man, you know, I ain't looking at that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it you know, it is what it is. If you don't, it's like you got to put in work. Like you got to put in work to like make an impact, you know? And
that's true. Yeah. That's true. With those websites, man, no shit, man. Like every time I wake up, because I was in Japan, man, I wake up, man, I was like 300 freaking messages on my thing, man. Phone going off like all night, all day, or whatever the case may be. So ain't no way I'm going back and look at all that shit.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So
you gotta filter through, man. And hey, so I just said I was sick, right? It's so uncomfortable, you know. And we'll try our best not to talk about COVID, right? This podcast, even though we kind of talked about it like real quick for like 1 second. But like, it's so uncomfortable being sick nowadays because like everybody think it's COVID. You know what I mean? So I went to the doctor, and my doctor was cool, man. He was like, yo, I'm not going to swab you. And I'm like, yeah, this the right kind of guy, man. like he's like, I'm not gonna swab you. He's like, that's the thing, man. Everybody now gets sick and the doctors think they gotta swab people. I'm not swabbing you, man. And I'm like, yeah, you speaking my language, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me get whatever meds I need and let me slide up out of here, man. If I could get a SIQ shit too, man, that'd be great. So that ain't what I said to him. But I went to the Cat Williams concert. Like right after that, I wanted to go see Cat Williams. And I was coughing, right? And I'm at the Cat Williams show in DC, right? So I don't even think we need to get into the crowd, you know what I mean? But it's a bunch of people that I think if I get caught coughing, they gonna turn around and check me, right? So I had to tell the ladies next to me, I'm like, hey, man, I got a little bit of a cold. I got my vaccine card, you know what I mean? I'm vaxxed, but I have a regular cold. Like I actually, caught the normal cold. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, oh man, you know what I mean? But we had a good time. But it's weird now when you cough. I'm like, I'm holding it in and all that, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But
you know what, man? I, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
So I had to get either swabbed or whatever like 4 or 5 times over to Japan.
Travel,
right?
It's crazy.
Right. So let me tell you this, man. So before I left, I get one. It was like okay. It wasn't crazy.
Oh, they ain't go all the way up there.
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't crazy. Then I got there. Then it was like then I had to spit in one. Then I had to do one. Spit was cool too, but it was a lot of spit though. It was cool.
Yeah.
Then I had this one at this tower, man. The best one I ever had, man. Rim of the nose, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, man, I'm coming back here every time.
Got that one too.
I'm coming back here every time. This is what I want to come to, right?
Yeah.
So we get on the one before we leave. We get on the ship, and the guy that was in like the project officer for us was over there, and he said, "Hey, we already on the ship right now. Let's go ahead and get this one knocked out while we over here instead of walking back over to the tower."
Yeah.
And I'm saying in my mind,
"Now that tower, I want that tower."
Holy shit, right, dude? So the little young HM3 comes in, and I told him because somebody already in the P-way told me about him.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, how many HM3s we got on board?" And he says, "Only me." I said, "Oh shit!" I said, "Hey man, the guys in the P-way have been talking about how you do these, how you do these swabs, man." I'm good. So the first guy go, man. Like the guy, I'm going second because I want to see how he do it. Because I might make that thing. Say, "No, man, I'm going over to the spot." Right, dude. He stuck that thing up old boy nose, man. It's like he went to another level.
Yeah.
It's like it went in like this, and then it went. I said, "Holy shit, dude." Dude, I said that just like this, dude. I said, "Look, when he did it, I said that this was my language." I said, "Holy shit." I said it loud just like that. And I was next, and I didn't want to get out of line, man. So I went ahead and took it, dude. Like, dude, that shit, hey, dude. Dude, she was running out my eyes and shit, man. I was like, man, I could turn my left eye down, man. I went call my wife, man, told her, man, that dude, like, he killed me up in there, man. Like, it was bad, man.
Make you lift your ass off your seat, man.
Yeah, man. It was bad, dude. I was like, it was the worst one.
Yeah.
Even when I caught COVID and we had to get swabbed, it was worse than that one, dude. I was like, oh my god.
Well, he probably got a reputation now. Like that's probably his thing now, man. He making a name for himself off of that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I heard about it on the ship before we even got there. I heard about it.
Man is notorious for his COVID test, man.
For real. He ain't no joke, man.
Shit, man. Hey, so retirements, man. Retirement ceremonies.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. Well, last year we couldn't have them. Like it wasn't happening, so you see people retiring on the block at home, digitally, through Zoom and stuff like that. And I think some years before, it was people like just not retire. I remember it. So let me finish that thought. Some years before, it was people that just wasn't, retiring. They just didn't want to do it. It wasn't their preference. The last retirement that I had at the time, I was a junior seller. I questioned it. It was a second class who retired. I questioned that. I was junior. I'm like, what the hell are you retiring? I wouldn't do that now. But when I was a junior, so I'm like, what the hell is he retiring for, man? You know what I'm saying? He was one of the last that a grandfather then seconds. He had a ceremony. And one of my boys retired as a second too. I don't remember if he had a ceremony or not, but he retired. But I missed a few ceremonies. Like I got invited to a few this year, and I missed them. But hey, congrats to you guys on really great careers, both of you. If you listen to the pod, I know you know who I'm talking to. Both engineers, both from my first ship, both were first classes when I got to that ship. So congrats to both of you on full careers, great careers. I'm really upset that I wasn't able to go to those ceremonies. But do you plan on retiring, having a ceremony?
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. And it's if you was talking about 5-year-old me, I may have been thinking differently, right, about it.
5-year-old you?
When 5-year-old 5 years ago. 5 years ago, me.
See, I feel like we finally getting warm now, man. If you was listening to us for the last hour or whatever, you know, we've been a little rusty, but now we, you know, Damon in 5 years, at 5 years old, he was thinking about retirement. All right, so 5 years ago,
so
what's up?
5 years ago, I probably been thinking a little bit different, man. But over the years, man, and then you know, as you know, I do a lot of Old Glory for people. Like I actually read Old Glory a lot, and I sit down and I look at these ceremonies. A lot of ceremonies I didn't seen, and man, how personal it is with the families and stuff, man, and with the people who come to see you and things like that. So yeah, man, I'm doing it for the fam. I'm doing it for the sailors, man. I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna actually have a full blown retirement ceremony, man. And I'm actually looking forward to it, man. Like it's go time, man. So I'm looking forward to it.
So that's like people want that like Mississippi swang to their Old Glory before they get out. They want that little twist.
Man. Oh yeah, they want that little twang in there, man.
You got a sample? You got a sample? You got a sample of it? Like what's the lyrics, man? Old Glory.
Hold up. Look up and see me.
Oh man,
that's funny. But yeah, man, the retirement ceremony for people who thinking about it, man. Actually, you gave a shot. Big shots to Frank Hearn, man. I'm gonna say his name, man. Big shots out to him. He just retired this Friday. I wasn't able to make it because of Japan and all that stuff, man. But good dude, man. He actually was stationed together at ATG.
Yeah.
And then when I got here, man, he ended up taking over being SEL. He's an OS, man, OS Master Chief, man. Big shots out to that guy, man. Always taking care of people, always taking care of sailors, and always giving you that straightforward answer to whatever you got, man. He got no problem. He probably about 6'4", man. Probably about 280. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big boy. So you know what I mean. But he was always give you straightforward, straight answers, straight mentorship. Whatever you needed, man, he was straightforward with you. So, hey, big shouts out to him, man, and all the things he got coming to him, man.
Yeah. For me, retirement is something that I've went, back and forth on. Back and forth by like saying I don't want to do it. I'm the person that's leaving the ship and not getting bonged off or nothing like that. So I go back and forth on that. But when I think about retirement and I think about my wife, I know it's something she gonna want. It's something something Angeline gonna want to see happening. I think about whoever like my division is, the sellers at that time, my Devo at that time, whatever ship I'm on, whatever command that is at that time. If I made an impact there. And then, we think about it. This is this career, man, this military career that we do. We do 20 years. And it is really something to be proud of, and it is really something to celebrate. It is something to kind of celebrate, something for a junior seller that's in their first year. If they were inspired by you, to kind of see you go off. It is an event. So like I say, I'm still back and forth about it. I know that I won't make it mandatory for nobody. I saw that happen before. Somebody made their retirement mandatory.
Yeah. I saw it a couple times too.
Yeah, man. I don't want that to happen.
I wasn't a big fan of that either.
Yeah, don't nobody want to come.
But yeah, but I do think people should, think about that portion of it though. Think about the family side of it. Think about all the sailors you have touched in your Navy career, that got you where you at today. You know what I mean? They had to help. You can't do nothing by yourself, man. I think that's more of what it's for.
Yeah.
But I still respect everybody who want to go out, you know what I mean, their own way. You know what I mean? So like you said, I don't want to make that mandatory. If people don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. I seen a lot of, in my day, I seen a lot of CMCs though, even though somebody may not do a retirement ceremony, he will still, like, in the mess or something, he'll get up and he'll like do a rundown of their career or a rundown of something, you know, to let them know that we appreciate them in some type of form. So and either way, man, it's a good deal. But I like to see families, man. I like to see, you know, the emotions behind how long, you know, people been in, how long they been doing it, the things they done went through.
Especially,
you know
if
what I
you
mean?
got kids, right?
20 some years and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Especially if you got kids. Because I mean, now for you now, if you retire, that's a whole, again, you got Mark now in the Navy. So that's like, you know, a whole family kind of passing over the torch, you know, thing at some point. I know what I will have is a retirement party. That's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening, man. It might be some edibles. There might be some edibles there too, man.
Oh.
Might be some edible. I never really ever, you know, smoke weed, marijuana.
Yeah, me either.
None of that stuff. But I don't know, man. I feel like that's the best way to celebrate a Navy.
Yeah, man. Why not, man? Get your first try.
I feel like every time I feel like we take like one step closer, you know, and just, you know, our podcast, man. You know, I gotta try to get us another step back, man. You know, what I'm saying? But I do though. I definitely think, I've been telling my wife, like, hey, there's gonna be some THC happening when I retire. You know, and that's for my mom to know, her mom, our families. I want everybody to know that, the Navy, everybody. It's gonna be in a legal manner, because my disability, the way my disability gonna be set up.
Yeah,
I'll be good.
I'll be there, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right outside of you, man.
Some edible Rice Krispie treats, baby. Let's go, man. Yeah, but yeah, so I know I'm gonna have a party. I know I'm gonna celebrate that. I know this was, dude. This is 20 years of my life. You know, I'm a whole different person than I was when I joined. Completely different. You know, I added to some of my principles that I already had, but I'm a whole different person. Now let's talk, like, in the same kind of realm of retirement. We got some E9s and some E8s that, you know, in a minute, y'all gonna have to get y'all ass to work.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's time, man. You know what I mean? It's time. It's time.
To get y'all ass to work.
And then I'm gonna say this right here, and I ain't trying to ruffle no feathers or anything like that. But I'm going to say this, man, is that the ships, and maybe some of the shore duties, mostly ships, need you guys out there, man. I do inspections on these ships. Man. And leadership is needed. And one of my good friends, and I'm gonna quote him right now. He always say, "Stop hiding in the bushes." You know what I mean? So stop hiding out there in them bushes, man. It's time to get on these ships. You know what I mean? And time to go get it, man. So if you guys sitting on shore duty for years and years and years or whatever, or going from some shore command because it says sea now, you know, whatever the case may be, I don't know.
Seat warmer,
you know,
seat warmers.
It's time. Yeah, it's
time
to get
seats,
in the fight,
babies.
It's time to get in the fight, man. Let's get out there and get it, man.
Hey, if you don't know,
so go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you don't know what we talk about, that's NAV Admin 20221. Announces the evaluation of all E8s and E9s who are assigned in excess of the billet pay grade are those who are aligned to unfunded billet requirements. So basically, the Navy want to get experienced sailors into billets that they need to be in. They're going to get the alignment. It's already done, really. I mean, that stuff will start happening.
It's already happening, too. It's happening.
Yeah, so they're going to get the alignments, you know, where they need to be. Because like you just said, I want to kind of talk, like, this is off topic, but like you just said, like, I don't know where I see technical expertise in 11 years from now in the Navy. I don't know where it's going to be.
I agree totally, man. And man, I don't want to get into that type of
I guess we about to talk. Well, we probably about to talk about it anyway in a minute.
Yeah. You talking about the training piece?
Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, let's.
Yeah.
I think
So,
we're there. We
okay.
So we landed on. I'm real quick. I know you got a lot on that, and then I'm gonna come back. Behind you.
Yeah.
But so this my thought process here. You get people that make rank fast, kind of like comparably to like. It didn't take me long to make some ranks, right? So it's some things that like that I've dealt with personally about like what I might not know or what I might not experience in my way forward. But you got to do that kind of like homework yourself. But when people make rank that fast, that kind of set a standard that like rank need to be made fast and stuff like that. So then you get these people that think rank got to be made fast. But the way the world is, and that's probably completely isolated to my point that the way things are changing is not a lot of people opening up books, right? So not a lot of people studying. So now you get these people that like, so this the way I look at it. Like 12 years ago, it was still people that like studied, like still like as an EM electrician, it was still people that read NEATS modules and still people that read the tech manuals and knew the stuff that was in the tech manuals. So those people that studied and actually had time to study, because we talk about that a lot, is the time you actually have, right? The one about the barking dog episode, if you want to kind of refer what we talk about, go back to that episode. But now these people that study and like new things based off experience and stuff like that, when more junior people came in, they were able to teach the junior people how to study and give the junior people like the experience and stuff. But as time changed, it was people studying less, right? People studying less to the point now that in my eyes and my scope, we got leaders, right? And when I say leaders, I'm strictly talking about like chiefs, and then maybe some senior E6s, right? But I'm not trying to include the E6s in this conversation at this point right now. But we got leaders that don't really have, they might have some experience, but they don't really have the technical expertise as somebody who actually opened up books and studied. So they not really training people to do that because that's not a part of their like recipe, right? So now, and a lot of the new kind of like a lot of new people, period, everything as far as knowledge is at the palm of their hand, like that they need, and things are faster. You could just go on YouTube. You could just, so if we not transition into like a YouTube kind of way to train or like some way like that, then in my opinion, that the white book with the black old English or whatever text that is, it's kind of falling by the wayside or whatever. So in 11 years, I don't know what technical expertise is going to look like. I don't think people are going to really know how to do their jobs, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree totally with you, man. I look at it like the training from a training standpoint, man. Like I'm talking to sailors all the time, and I can look. I've been doing this for so long, man, 20 some years, and in 20 some years, man, I have to give a shout out to my LPOs.
Yeah.
The people who brung me up in the Navy, because those guys knew how to quote freaking tech manuals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 079 Volume 2, Chapter 5, right? So right now, we don't have that no more. You're right spot on, because we don't have that right now. We don't have these sailors that open up the books and learn. And you know another thing, I'm just came off the top of my head right now, is that how hard it is for sailors to make board now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Back then, that wasn't even a thing. Back then, people was making board. Oh yeah, he has, but he got it, he good. Boom. But now it's a little bit harder, because not blaming those sailors, I'm blaming them knowing how to study, knowing what to study. You know what I mean? Things like that. What I look at. And I remember this thing we had on one of my ships, man. When I was a first class, actually, when I was training sailors on what they should be studying, how they should study, and things like that. But we had this thing on the ship where, man, we just don't have time to do this no more. But it was called School to Ship. I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, but it was called.
About it. I don't think we talked about it on the pod though.
Yeah, it was called School to Ship, right? And it happened right after quarters, right? And right after quarters, you get 30 to 45 minutes, to train your division or whatever, divisional train or train on whatever you want to do. And man, I felt like I got so much info out during that little time in the morning afterwards.
When was this? When was this? Like what? Like
I'm gonna say it was around 06, 07, somewhere up in there.
Okay, yeah, it
had it around.
sound old. That's why I asked. It sound.
Yeah.
It's school to shit.
School ship. Yeah, school ship. Hey, so so what I'm getting at is though that stuff don't happen no more, man. Like right now, we barely have time to do quarters.
Yeah,
and then on top of barely have time to do quarters, man, quarters might be at 8:30.
Yeah,
my quarters at 6:45. You know what I mean? You had time during that day to get stuff done and get, man, now you barely have time to do maintenance on your equipment.
Yep.
And then you want to throw in training. We don't have time to get this. And I'm going to talk real quick from a deep damage control standpoint, man. Like when I left the ship, I had 16 REs, right? So REs is pretty much on the things that I have to accomplish during a quarter or during a 6-month period or whatever the time period, right? I have REs, the complete training pieces to complete.
Yeah.
Plus on a ship schedule, right? Plus trying to train, we don't have the time to do a lot of this stuff to get it all in, right? So guess what happens when you can't get it all in? Now you rushing, right? So now, yes, I'm going to run this. I'm going to do this training. I'm going to do this drill. I'm going to do this. But my feedback for my training is not what it should be. And I know people think like, what you mean? What you mean your feedback, right? So feedback is one of the biggest part of training. Biggest part of running the drills is giving the crew feedback on what they messed up on what they did good or whatever the case may be. But sometimes you be in so much of a time crunch on ships doing things that you can't give them that real feedback. Now you in the same place you was before, right? You're in the same place you was before if you're not giving good feedback. I know I'm relating this to military right now, but it's for anything. You could be civilian for anything in life. Feedback is a big part of everything. That's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes, learning from feedback, learning from mistakes. So this here, what I'm talking about now takes me right into train the way we fight the way we train. If you in the military right now, you got a little bit of seasoning to you, you know, we'd heard this whole saying a long time in the Navy, right? Train the way we fight. Are we really doing that? That's my question to anybody out there right now that want to rebuttal for what I'm talking about right now. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, are we really doing that? Are we really training the way we fight right now? And if we are, let's talk about it. You know, because this is a conversation for me mostly because of my rate too, though. And I know things have happened with the McCain, the Fitzgerald, some of these ships that's out there, BHR, so many things that happen out there. And I think a big part of it is from training. Yeah, I really do feel training, and every time something like this happens, the Navy goes, or whoever gonna go, you know, high and right with this. And I don't know how much you know about this. High and right is now, it's new programs, new protocols, or new things that we're doing right now because of what happened on the BHR.
Yeah.
Right. Already we hiring people to come out there and specifically to do things now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the Navy, specifically go look at these ships when they're in a yard period and all this type of stuff because of this. But I know they holding a lot of people accountable. I read it, I see it, or whatever the case. So I won't get too in depth with all that stuff. But at the same time, man, it's our ship, right? So we have to be able to train. We have to be able to do these things. And we can't do all this stuff. We can't do all this stuff, man. It's hard to hold a lot of people accountable when we just cannot get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it. We just can't get it done sometimes. And not saying we're not meeting the criteria. What I'm saying is we're not hitting all the steps of the criteria, like feedback, like training, like real training, not no, oh yeah, this, no, real training, real feedback. So that's my take on it, man. But I really want to talk to everybody, man. I want to bring this back up and in probably next episode or so again, maybe after anniversary or whatever. And hopefully we get some feedback from some people about this and what do they think about it, so we can actually have some good conversation and good dialogue about this training the way we fight type thing, man. I really, really want to have a good conversation about that.
Yeah, man. I think I'm not gonna talk too much about it because we talked about it on the one about a barking dog. Like we really washed it out. But for this, especially with the BHR and stuff like that, I think it's a matter of accountability, responsibility, and training, right? The accountability part, and this is why I feel like we do this, and I'm gonna honestly say I think we do this wrong every time. I think we hold people accountable at the wrong time every time. We always hold people accountable after something happens. It's ways to hold people and hold yourself accountable before things happen. There are ways. It's things that we can reinforce as far as training checkpoints and stuff like that to hold people accountable before things can happen. I'm not talking about like no minority report. People got to be punished before something happens, but just hold people accountable to what they're supposed to know, right? Responsibility. That's another accountability thing, man. If you take away accountability, in my opinion, you take away responsibility. And a lot of, and that's not like always around the board. Like you might get these pure souls who want to do things right all the time, but then you get people that if you break off all the chains or you let the hyenas run wild, that's what they gonna do. You know what I mean? And that's the way things work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then training, of course, that's number one. I'm one of the people that think if people knew more, we talked about it. Actually, we was talking about it earlier when we was talking about Gundecking and stuff. But I'm one of the people that think if people knew more, they would do more. So meaning that a lot of people, I go out. We were on DSET and stuff like that. You look at these drills and you look at like who wants to like volunteer, and you look at who don't want to volunteer. A lot of the people that don't really want to volunteer, they're not confident that they know the stuff. They're gonna be embarrassed, and this a different time. It's a time where people don't want to do things where they like gonna look stupid, So if we never ever kind of put them in an environment where they won't look stupid, crawl face stuff like that, then we never ever going to push them to ever know that, And one of the things that I hate, and I'm gonna be scattered, but one of the things that I'm starting to hate is when we say, "Oh, don't worry, if it's the real thing, the people on DSET gonna be the ones that's fighting the fire." Are the people on DSET gonna be the ones that's battling the casualty? Because what we training for, if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? We might as well just keep reinforcing DSET,
Yeah.
So our decade, depending on where you from, whatever you want to call it. So
coach you on.
Yeah. So that's one of, like, for me, that's a big thing. I think the last time we talked about the identity crisis that we thought that I stated that I thought the Navy was in. Like, what do we want to do? We want to train. We want to do this. We want to do that. But this BHR thing, it's a lot of responsibility there. You had like a chief that, I don't know if you looked at everything, but you had like a chief that was on duty. And this all this stuff that, like, I talked about it when I was talking about my first duty day. There's a thing, man. We talk about all this stuff, man. I talked about my first duty day where it's like, it's not wrong until it's wrong, right? So you had the chief that wasn't there. Who knows where that chief was? Probably went on a food run or whatever. There's probably something that's been happening, But when they do the 100-person survey and they start figuring out whatever, and they do these reports, and you start to find out all this stuff, we get devastated. Like, oh man, it wasn't a chief there. And some people commands, they got a chief right now in the engineering that ain't where they supposed to be, on their duty day or whatever like that. All of us probably have done it. It's probably been the time that you left your duty, you talk to the section leader or something like that. The section leader not gonna say that after the fire. I don't know what, like, it's certain things that, these things happen, you know what I mean? And that's that accountability part and that responsibility part. The OD not calling it away, that's a mixture of all three to me: training, accountability, and responsibility. See, a lot of people want to just push it to I was listening to some old school dudes talk, and a lot of them were more so thinking about the accountability and the responsibility piece. But I pin it to the training too, because I think I've been in the Navy long enough to see, like, when people know what they're doing, they want to show it. Like, when they know it, they want to show it. They want you to see it. Like, I know how to do this. I know how to call away this casualty. I know how to plot. You know what I'm saying? You know how many times I erased my annotations off the plotting board before anybody got a chance to see, because I'm not the best at plotting. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I was the best at plotting, that
leave it up
that
there.
it'd be right there. Yeah, it'd be right there so everybody could see it. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And if we never really, we like you said, we rush too much stuff now, so we not at the. When the last time we had just plotting training, like where you bring everybody, dude.
Yeah.
To be the EDO on a ship, right? And I get a little telling here. To be the EDO on a ship, it ain't no plotting training, man. You know what I'm saying? And some ships probably do it, but I'm just talking about my last experience, you know, and that ain't the knock nothing. But we didn't go over how to plot a damn fire, man. So whatever you got that from that day of firefighting training, or you opened up a book, right? The 555, right? 555. You opened up a book and you read it and you learned it from that book or whatever. But nobody really came in and I want to say, as a part of EDO for drills on a duty day, that's something that supposed to get checked after you run. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to check it and make sure they're doing what making sure the locker and CCS plots look, you know, similar, and make sure it's correct.
The CDO, right? Is it the CDO supposed to do that?
CDO sometimes, fire marshal, whoever.
Fire marshal.
Experience,
somebody, they supposed to do that. So you get these people that just don't know what they're doing, man. And these things happen. So if your EDO don't know how to plot, that's like, in my opinion, that's bad there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you get hosting, like I don't know, man. It's all around the board. It was a lot of things that went wrong with the sellers on a BHR. But it's a deeper thing, you know, and me looking at reports that say, you know, Navy blames sellers. And I know that's the way the civilians tailor the report to put these catchphrases and stuff, so it could be like clickbait and stuff like that. But some of that stuff is true when we're looking for a finger to point. But if we are looking for a finger to point, I want us to kind of like know that we got to value training. I don't think training is valued. I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I when I looked at the little bit, I ain't read the whole report yet, but I read most of it, right? So because I want to know, like, I don't like to talk about things if I don't know, like, read everything. But I look at this whole report and everything that's going on almost like back in the day when I was stationed in Japan, and we used to have these things called Liberty plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know some ships may still have them or not, I don't know, but on this Liberty plan, you had to write everything, everywhere you went,
right?
Everywhere you was going when you got off, you had to write that in a plan, make a copy of it, make sure it's on the ship.
Yeah.
Right. If you go out in town and you deviate from that Liberty plan, your command could say you deviated, and they can get you. That you can actually like deviating from this plan. So I look at the BHR kind of like that. It's an after the fact thing.
Yeah.
You know all these things. You know all these things you're supposed to be doing. But guess what? When something hit the fan, now we want to say, this person, that person, that person, that person. And then, same way, man. It's the after the fact thing. Once we got all these rules and regulations out there, you know, that can get you, but you know, we kind of like teetering on the line of a lot of them because of the training.
And then what we always do, right? And I'm seeing it so much, man. And like I need a forum. We need a forum for this, because we come up, like you just said, we come up with like more initiatives or more programs, like to reinforce something that we already had programs in line to enforce. But again, we wasn't you know, taking responsibility over that or over those programs. We wasn't taking ownership over those programs. So all we do is, from now on, we need to do this. And, you know, when you really look at it, like, we were doing this already like this. Like I was reading something about like a mentor program, like a new like mentor buddy program or something like that. It's like, we already have all these programs. Like we don't, it's like let's enrich the programs that we have instead of thinking like, I don't even know who making these programs. Oh yeah, they need mentors. That's what they need. Like we got them already. Like let's enrich what we have. You know, they need buddy care. Actually, I do the EASC program, and one of the things on there is, I haven't talked about it yet because I really want, but one of the things on there is called buddy care. That's like shipmates helping each other. Like we should be doing that already. Like the program, but one of the things I want to talk about before we get off this topic, because what's important there, this is a really, man, we could do a whole 35 episodes on this topic. But what's important is, one of the things I even on Facebook, I just was saying, like, normalize saying it's not my job when it's not your job, right? And I said this is not a Navy post. I said that for one reason, right? Because it could be a Navy post. Normalize it's not my job when it's not your job could be a Navy post, because a lot of people do get overworked and stuff like that. But the reason why I said it's not a Navy post only had to do with damage control, because I believe that we shouldn't keep like people in the same positions in damage control for too long. Like, you need to get in it, learn it, do it the better, like, minus the like electricians, of course, because I'm an electrician, but do it, learn it, master it, whatever, rotate, let somebody else do it. Because in my opinion, when some real shit go down, we need a versatile team, right? And there's no space to be saying this is not my job, I'm the hose man, if some real stuff go down, that EM who might, we are restricted to like a certain role or responsibility, you might wind up grabbing somebody. You better know how to do first aid. You better know how to do some certain stuff. So that's another thing that, really gets me, is like, if you get a seller saying it's not my job and we talk about damage control, no. Damage control is damage control, and that's every aspect of it. It's your job. You can't go do the electrician's job, of course, because you're not an electrician. But outside of that, that's damage. I think electrician is probably the only role in damage control that you have a specialist in or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it is, man. I think it's like the only one. Everybody could be a scene leader. Everybody. I mean, it's like pretty much the only one.
Yeah. So I don't know how you feel. You're a DC man, but I feel like we need to be rotating. Like you shouldn't be a boundary man. Like, oh, he's the best boundary man. He's the best investigator. Like, nah, everybody need to be able to do it. We need a team full of LeBrons, man.
Yeah, and that goes to, man, that goes back to empowering sailors to want to be great, man. To want to be great. A lot of people is okay, man, I'm gonna boundary this thing out. I don't want to move. I don't want to get qualified and nothing else and all that stuff. But when I say empower them and showing them, man, like, one of those things is like, they don't want to get qualified, higher than a bounderman. Guess what? You may not get an East-West pin either then, because you got to be a 310 to get East-West. You know what I mean? Things like that you can make happen, that you could put in the program to,
right,
to make stuff shine, man. So
accountability beforehand. Why are we going and doing these investigations and finding out we got junior officers in the pilot house that's not qualified, or they rushed to qual? Come on, man. That's a culture thing. That's something that we doing, man. We ain't got enough time. We, this, that. Yeah, like I said, that's triggering, for me. So I could be on that forever. So let me get off that. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna go over my book. My book. It's called Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Real good book, man. A real good book. It's about this dude from Baltimore, and he's talking to his son. It's like a letter to his son, man. He talk a lot about protecting his skin, protecting his body. And his son, he saw Michael Brown get killed. And after Michael Brown got killed, his son was after the trial, and the people got away like scot-free, whatever. His son went upstairs. He ran upstairs and started crying, saying like, that gets no justice or whatever. So I guess that's what triggered Ta-Nehisi Coates to go ahead and write this book about his upbringing and different things that he went through. It was the audio book. It was short, about 3.5 hours. Really good book, man. One of the best books I read ever, most likely. Like short book, one of the best books. I think they just recently made like a whole movie or something out of it too. It's on like I want to say it's on Amazon Prime or something like that. But and I'm gonna definitely go check it out now that I read this book. It's super relatable though. It's about like growing up in an inner city, where people pull guns out at you and you got to deal with, a lot of different stuff. One of the stories that really stood out was a story about a black kid that was killed by a black cop in a black neighborhood with a black system. And the significance of that story. And it's crazy because that for me was the bridge between Ta-Nehisi and his son, who experienced, Mike Brown. But his son lived a completely different life because Ta-Nehisi, you know, became a writer and was able to provide and take his son places that he had never been. Like he never left the country until like 25. You know, all he knew was his neighborhood that he grew up in and stuff like that. So it's a really, really, really good book for any American. Honestly, it's an African American kind of based book, but it's a good book for. I never like to get into that because reason why I never like to get into like, yo, this is an African American book versus like it being an American book is because we grew up reading American books that didn't have any African American characters in it at all, right? And we didn't never have to say like we never had to classify it as like a certain book. We just read it. You know what I mean? It's a story. It's an American story. So like Holden Caulfield, like Catcher in the Rye and all that stuff, like The Giver and all that stuff. I've read all of that stuff as just books. You know what I mean? So this is a good book. Again, African American author. He's talking to his son. He talk about some problems that, you know, he experienced growing up in an urban neighborhood. It's not even like about too much about like racism or slavery or nothing like that. It's just about some of the things that like he dealt with as a young black man growing up in the city of Baltimore, going to Howard. He went to Howard University, and some of the stuff that, you know, he dealt with going to Howard. So that book, I gave it 5 stars, man. It's one of the best books I read this year.
Yeah, man. So I got a book, man.
Oh, for real?
So what happened to me, man, is I didn't get my TA in time, man. So so I got a book, man. So the book is really not like my book per se, but my wife's friend, you know, introduced her to this book, right? And it's called "We Should All Be Millionaires," written by Rachel Rodgers, right? So, and the reason why I got the book is because when we buy an audio book, me and her share it, and it comes up on my thing too. So as I'm going to work, at first, I guess she didn't even know I was, you know, reading it, whatever. But as I'm going to work, I gotta, you know, it's 2 hour there, hour back, so I just play, you know, the book. So I'm playing this book, man, and it's a book about it's empowering women.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, type book. And you think, man, why this book is so exciting to me? But let me tell you, man, the couple of points I want to point out in the book was the thing the lady was doing to make money. And you don't even think about it, man. Like, it was more than just being a millionaire. It was more about using your time wisely and all this type of stuff. So one of the examples was like she has a personal chef, right? So she bring this personal chef in 3 days a week and pay her the same amount of money she go out and make grocery with that week.
Yeah.
We don't look at it like that. Yeah. Now she has more time to do other things now.
Yeah.
Instead of being there cooking, she has a fridge full of healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Right? She got a personal assistant, right? That comes in and do things in the house, do other things that she don't have to do. And it's paying the same money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That she would do if she was doing it normally. She said the problem is people just don't want to do it. Yeah. People feel like they could pay, you could pay $20 an hour and bring somebody in for 3 hours, 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, I think we would save money if we had a personal chef.
Yes.
That's cheaper than Uber Eats.
Yes. And all these little things, it's more than that to it, man. That's what I'm saying. I encourage anybody to go out and read this book. I know it's kind of a woman empowering book or whatever, but I'm here to tell you, man, that the ideas and things that was coming out of this book opened my eyes up. Yeah. Right. For things like challenging yourself, and you don't need a whole lot of money to do things that you think you need to do. You just got to get started and you got to get going. And man, the book is very good, man. I'm thinking about like reading it again because so many good points in this book.
Yeah.
To make you think about what we doing every day. And she got like all the stuff she got, man. Like she was just saying about like to give herself more time. She was hiring people for it to do it. Right? Like for example, my wife was doing cups. Right? So my wife was making these cups. and we was relating the book to her cups. It was like, well, what if you hired somebody on the weekend to come in for 4 hours and pay them $20 an hour?
Yeah, she would get more done as well.
She'd get more done, more cups, and stuff like that she was talking about. Is really not much money you think it is when you actually do it. So yeah, man. So it's a powerful book. Again, the name of it, We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers, man. So take a look, take a peek at it, man. It's a pretty good book.
I definitely want to check that out, man. I'm gonna have to write that down. I'm definitely gonna check that out. All right, so now it's on to our movie, Netflix movie, war movie, right? Not a we watched a few about PTSD and different things like that. This is a strict war movie. You always, it's gonna be like some PTSD elements and stuff like that. But this was like the action answer to Dunkirk to me from the French. It's called The Forgotten Battle on Netflix. A couple things about it is it's a Dutch movie. So Dutch resistance is called like the Battle of the Scheldt or whatever. So it pretty much was I'm trying to not have to read all of this. So the director, his name is Mathis van Heiningen Jr. or whatever. And then the actors, I don't know them, so I'm not even gonna like butcher their names. Like I just butcher his name. But it's when the Allied troops, right, were pretty much, and we watched this movie like weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, but the Allied troops were kind of all coming in to, was it France?
Let me see, where was it
at? So after Normandy, I feel bad about this. I feel real bad about this. But it's pretty much like this was the last piece of land that wasn't that the Nazis still occupy in a certain area. And if the Allied troops could get this last like slip of land, we pretty much had a like easy kind of passage through to win the war, pretty much. And eventually in the movie, we had pretty much won it over, but we just hadn't got there yet or something like that. So it was still some German kind of control, right? And then it was broken down through three different, I'm sorry about us trying to figure it out, but it was broken down through like three different points of view. One was the point of view of the sister of like, well, the family of like this one young kid who was like 17. He was like a part of like a resistance of these guys. They had like a secret group. So that was the one thing. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about his dad, the dad in that movie. Another was the point of view of a soldier who got hurt and then came back. He had to come back and work for one of the military leaders there. And then it was the other was about, again, a behind enemy lines because one of the planes of the Allied troops landed in their the still Nazi occupied land. So pilot,
right?
Yeah. So it was about that group. It was about, their group. All in all, it was a good movie. I'm not going to ruin this for anybody and give too many spoilers. So The Forgotten Battle was a good movie. This is not going to be a long review. For me, I give it a 4 out of 5. It was really good. Like the cinematography, the action, like everything was good. I think I watched it in segments as well. But the one thing I want to talk to you about is the dad, man. So the son, right? He throws. I just said I wasn't gonna give up spoilers, so let's kind of like change that real quick. Son had a camera, right? The Nazi soldiers pretty much took the camera, smashed that shit on the ground, boom, right? So after that, he picks up a rock, he throws it at like a Humvee or something like that, right? He throws it at a truck, makes the truck crash. He killed like 5 dudes, right? So after that, and this was the like probably this part, the story part that captivated me was like their story, right?
That was one of the biggest parts of the movie, yeah.
Right so after that, he, they looking for whoever did it, right? They looking for whoever did it. They like, oh, we just gonna kill every young boy around until we find,
crazy, right?
Whoever did it. So then the dad's a doctor. He's like one of the dudes that's treating them or whatever like that. We're like good, noble man. So he like pretty much get to this thing where he like, all right, I'm gonna get my son to, you know, turn himself in. And for I want to talk more about this, but I'm gonna just I don't think I could ever do that, man. Could you?
Yeah.
What would you
I
do,
would never
man?
do that. I would never do that. We gonna live our lives as normal, and he had a basement down there. They're gonna have to drag my kid up out of here, man. Ain't no way in the hell. And I know what's gonna happen to him. Come on, man.
You can't be that
What's gonna happen
naive.
to him.
Like you can't be
you
that
know what's gonna
naive,
happen to
man.
him. You know what I mean? So that was one of the biggest parts of the whole movie. But I'm gonna tell you what made the movie good for me, man. And this happens to me all the time in these different movies, where you got so many different things going on. Like you had 3 stories that I knew about. You know what I mean? It was 3 stories in that movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get lost in those 3 stories. You know what I mean? I like, oh man, why got so much shit going on? But this movie wasn't like that, man.
Yeah.
I was actually in tune, paying attention to like the parts, like you said, the part about the dad, the boy, that was its own thing. The sister had her own thing going on. And then you had the pilot. You know what I mean? The guy that did this kind of guiding pilot thing, man. They had their own thing going on. With their pilot program was crazy as hell, man. They just gliding into places or whatever. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But to keep my attention with all the different storylines, man, was big. The scenes, and like you said, from a cinema standpoint, man, was good. Like everything made sense to me. Everything like was real. It looked real, man. So, but it was a good movie, man. It was different from that standpoint because this is a movie that was another side of World War II.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was a different side of, like you say, it was about a spot of land that can help them get to where they do the things they trying to do. So yeah, man, good movie. I also give it like a 4 out of 5 also, man. But my thing was about the fact of the storylines of it all, man. The storylines and keeping it together, and then at the end, it actually some good stuff happened. So it was a good deal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, really good movie. You said you gave it a 4 out of 5 too?
Yeah.
That's Khalid. That's Khalid right there.
Yeah, Khalid gave 4 out of 5 too.
Ready to go.
Yeah, he get a 4 out of 5
yeah,
also, man.
Yeah, man. Good movie. Check it out, man. We'll probably talk more about it at some other point. But yeah, man, this one it's started a little rough, I think.
Yeah. We got together. We got it together, man.
Yeah, man. Permission to Speak Freely. Next week is the anniversary.
Most definitely, man. Looking forward to it, man. Got some great things coming up. Got some guests coming up soon too. So yeah, man.
Yeah. That's it for me, man. I'm done.
That's it for me too, man. Peace. Mississippi, stand up. Let's go.